Classic FM 94.3 Abuja, the station that plays every song that you know. Exactly 1 minute past 12 by my time here in the studio. Welcome to the Classic Lounge. My name is Faith, and it's good to be with you here today. All right, so as always, as I announced earlier, for Nas in Focus today, our show, of course, I focus on the activities and the legislation that goes on in the National Assembly. We have in the studio a special guest. We have Honorable Benjamin Kalu. He is, the spokesperson for the House of Representatives, Federal House of Representatives, and he also, represents the Bende Federal Constituency in Abia State. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and listeners, thank you for tuning in.
All right, so we have so much to talk about today. I was going to start, in a different way initially, but following the news that broke this morning, I figured we probably should start off, with this particular news, and that, of course, is centering on the issue of insecurity, right? So this morning we woke up to the story about bandits attacking, Zamfara school, kidnapping many female students. The number that has been reported, by different news media, I'm actually looking at this from Premium Times, is talking about the number of kidnapped students set to be close to 300. And this is coming shortly after we had this kidnapping incident that happened at Kagara, in Niger State. The boys are still in captivity, and this is happening on the heels of that again. The issue of insecurity is so rife, in Nigeria. So let's talk about, that. Do you think there's some lawmakers who have suggested that there should be a state of emergency declared on insecurity? Is that your thoughts as well, especially, with this news? Because I want you to react to this abduction as well.
Yeah, it's a very sad news. Honestly, I was attending a retreat when it was brought to my notice that this happened this early morning. And to be honest, it is high time the country change our strategy on handling this insecurity. Remember, few months to this time, it was argued that the change of the service chiefs was the solution to the insecurity problem. And some of us have always maintained that, yes, it will be one of the steps towards resolving our insecurity problem. It wouldn't take us to Eldorado. They are not the messiahs. They are going to start from where the others start. But what we're expecting a new energy. We're expecting a new strategy. We're expecting something to be done differently. And Nigerians are still waiting to see that happen. And it's a challenge for the service chiefs to come together and do something differently, because we can't be hearing this. It's very embarrassing to the government. It's very, very embarrassing, and I don't care what anybody feels about it. These are our kids, and if they don't feel secure when we are leading them, then it's a problem. It's a major problem. So I think they call for state of emergency to be declared on security. It's not a bad call. We had raised that in the House. It was, when we had sent invitation to Mr. President for us to deliberate on issues bordering on insecurity. One of the things that came with that resolution was a state of emergency should be declared. And some of the northern state governors were also on the same page that state of emergency should be declared for insecurity of our country, to enable the president do something outside the books, because at the moment, there is something he can do, outside what is in the Constitution. But in a period we have a declaration of state of emergency, it enables him to, use other alternative sources of support to make sure that we calm this. Something must be done differently, and we must be bold enough, courageous enough to take the bold step. I
mean, there have been conversations about maybe the way to go is to negotiate with these people, and you have some northern governors who have endorsed that and said, the best thing to do is to negotiate. And we have seen, emissaries, like Sheikh Gumi, go into the negotiation process with these people. Where do you stand with the idea of negotiation?
Personally speaking, I don't believe that you should be negotiating with criminals. It doesn't matter what fuel the agitation or fuel the terrorism that they are carrying out, because it's an act of terrorism against the state. And to be sitting down, be negotiating with them, I take an exception to that. personally as Benjamin Okezekal, because you see, you negotiate with them and then you bargain, you give money, and then the money will be used to, buy more ammunition to come back again to take larger number. Let me ask this question. The number they are taking now, the number they took a few days ago, which one is larger? This one is larger. So you give them more money, they acquire more equipment to fight you, and they take more population. And then you go back again. I mean, who is fooling who? It's a merry-go-round. It's not, for me, it's a no-no. Negotiating with them is a no-no. We should use that money to equip our military the more, to give them extra funding for them to go and attack and restore the dignity of this country and also the pride of this leadership of this country. Negotiating is for me, is weakness. As a sovereign nation, to go and be negotiating for what? To pay money for people to be released and they take another one. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, different groups spring up every day.
I mean, it become commercialized because once they see that you are paying for this, they'll keep, multiplying themselves into so many other groups and let the money be coming out. And whose money? Taxpayers' money? That taxpayers' money should be used to equip the Air Force, equip the military, for them to go and do their job, motivate the people who are working in the field. Some of them who are working in the field are hungry. Some of these soldiers are hungry in the field. So let them be given that money. Let their family be given some incentive for them to feel well. They left their children, their wives at home, and some of them are suffering at home without food to eat, and that is the truth. So let that money be rightfully channeled to enable the people feel more motivated to fight. Let them have more ammunition. Let them be more equipped. We are wasting our resources if we are going to be using it to be given to people who are springing up and asking for money. It doesn't make sense.
I think the president sort of agrees with that because he has announced a very tough stance towards it and sort of like rolled out the idea of negotiation.
I didn't expect anything less from Mr. President. I didn't expect anything less from him. I mean, as the commander-in-chief, it's casting aspersion on his integrity. You're declaring him as being a weak president if all he can do while commanding being the chief commander, the commander-in-chief, all he can do is to sit down and do commercial negotiation of how much that is paid to those who are attacking his nation. I mean, that to me is a no-no. Like I say again, it's a no-no. We should spend that money rightfully, put it where they need it, and let our people be motivated. Let the armed forces be more motivated.
Okay.
To do the job.
Let's talk about this. So one of your members came up with this motion to allow citizens carry any arms. Of course, it was not something that was unanimously agreed to in the House and it was shut down. But what do you think? That suggestion is not just coming from him. There are some people who have postulated that maybe that's the way to go. What do you think about that?
It's a motion we have to, just like the House did, look at it very, very critically. If you start licensing now, is that the best approach? The ammunitions, would they end up in the wrong hands? Won't you equip more of these groups springing up, for them to have, once they have the guns? It's one thing to have the gun, it's another thing to know how to shoot it. It's one thing to have the gun, it's another thing to use it legally. These people, if they come and say we are Nigerians, we are also entitled to have licensed gun, are they not going to use it against the nation? Yes, granted, you are having your own gun, but you are not willing to shoot decent and innocent citizens. They have their own gun, license. Will it be licensed to kill that is given to them? So the stage where we are now, we must be very careful about. You don't think it's that conversation we should have? No. We should keep having the conversation. I'm not saying we should stop having the conversation, but as we discuss, as we converse, we'll be able to find out, pick up the pros and the cons of going that route in view of where we are at the moment, our unique situation. But ordinarily speaking, I mean, most countries in the world, approve you can have a licensed ammunition to protect you, if you have a particular classification of your status, to protect your property, protect yourself, they have. But there, even at that, people have to go through mental, assessments to make sure that, you are mentally healthy to be able to use, we have the U.S. as a very big example where even though you have that license, you have a lot of killings happening on a regular basis.